The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good morning, everybody, from Bangkok, Thailand. Good evening if you are in other parts of the world, as most of you are. This is Ken Krell. I am thrilled to have you with us, as always. You are in for a huge treat today. Really excited to have you. Jimmy's in from the Philippines. Great. Some of you already know to put in the chat box of where you're calling in from to make sure you hear me okay. So let's just do a sound check to make sure. I know that Doug can hear me because we've been talking. We've been talking about you guys actually as we waited for the bewitching hour to arrive. But you just pop in the chat and let me know that you can hear me and where you're coming in from today. That would be super cool. I see Debbie's in from San Francisco, so welcome. Good to see you, my dear. And a lot of familiar faces. Wayne, Raymond, Marie is here. Yay, Marie! So are you coming on the cruise, Marie? Bruce is here. Haven't seen you in a while. So just guys, just pop in the chat. A couple ground rules as we begin today. Yay, Kylie from Australia. So good afternoon to you, I guess. Juro is here from Europe. Fantastic. So anyway, today is going to be really special. I've known Doug Crow for, oh gosh, almost 6 months now. And when I first met him, I was told he is the king of getting me bestseller. Hey, Barry from Neptune. He's the king of creating best-selling authors. And I watched it happen with my friend Jim Graham. Some of you know Jim. And he created Jim's book, which has become a bestseller and has been leveraged heavily since then. We've been talking offline, and the key to a successful bestseller isn't just being a bestseller. Hey, Marianne, isn't just being a bestseller or having that sticker on your book, bestseller, or saying I'm a best-selling author. That's sort of like saying I got a great date. Then what? Right? So what you're going to learn today is not just how to create a bestseller, but how to turn that bestseller into a profit center for you that is going to last you for years and years and years and really do what the book's supposed to do, which is create financial freedom for you. We talked about books for a long time. We've created the World Authors Conference a couple of years ago and had people from all over the globe participating in that because everybody wanted a book. Everyone's got a message and a book inside them, and that's great. And we want you to get that message out. But I want the message to be profitable for you, not just a passion, which authors have tons of passion, but so many authors fail because they don't have the profit side of the passion. So today we're going to dive deep into turning your book into a bestseller and creating revenue from that so that you never have to worry about money again and have that book really do what it's supposed to. So with that said, I want you to turn every distraction off. Okay, when you get engrossed in a good book, there could be a fire down the street, you'd never know, or even in your bedroom, you'd never know because you were tied in that book so tight, nothing's happening except that book. That's where I want you to be with us today, all right? So cell phones in to vibrate. If you get distractions on your desk, so get rid of it. This is going to be really life-changing because the guy that you're going to hear from in a few minutes, or in a few seconds rather, is the real deal. And you want to pay very, very close attention to what's going on because this really is going to be revolutionary for you. So with that said, one last thing. The chat is monitored by me. I'll be here with you throughout the entire process. So, and I can't wait to hear. I mean, Doug and I have talked many different times, but I'm not seeing the presentation. So I can't wait to hear some of the details. We're working on a book for me right now, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to get, and basically Doug does a lot of done for you. So it's like, we're taking care of it. I'm like, okay. So I want to learn a little bit about what the magician is actually doing. And Marie, there's a chance of it, but I never ever guarantee a recording because every time I say yeah, there's one, something happens. So if there is, awesome. If there's not, we'll figure something out. So with that said, are you guys ready? Just give me a big yes in the chat, and I will bring on my friend Mr. Doug Crow. Give me a big yes. And we are rocking and rolling. Use that chat, guys. That's how we can communicate with each other back and forth. Doug is closing up that control panel because he doesn't do a lot of webinars, and it's distracting him. So, okay, I got a lot of yeses. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm Totalpreneur clap. That's right, the famous Totalpreneur clap to Mr. Doug Crow. Woo!
I can hear them clapping across the globe. It's great. Thanks, Ken. Thanks so much for the introduction. I really appreciate it, and I'm very excited to help talk to and share with your team of people right now. So I'm going to get right to it. I don't do a lot of dilly-dally. I'm going to share with you how to make $500,000, that's US dollars or more, with your best-selling book. And the key thing there is even without writing it, if you so choose. That's a key component of it. You'll learn why in a moment. Oh, I got to close this thing up. Excuse me.
You
Why is
look
it not
good. You
closing
look
up?
good from here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're
Well,
fine.
for some reason this thing is
Oh, you just hit the button.
okay.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, I'm going to teach you about this, how this works actually, how other bestsellers who don't necessarily write do sell a ton of books, but more importantly, leverage their brand. And the thing that I do, which most of my other people in my industry do not do, is we combine that bestseller with getting showcased in the media. Okay, so a brief introduction about myself. I'm a respected integrator of content-based marketing. You've heard that word before. By creating a uniquely positioned best-selling book. My company helps entrepreneurs eliminate the key distraction or overwhelm of book and brand creation, and I'm a senior journalist with Newswire. So that's a key component to how I do things differently and make them really super effective for you. My team's results are pretty substantial. We've done over 156 Amazon bestsellers. Some anecdotes here. One of them is won the #2 Christian Book Award. Another one is a regular magazine contributor. Another one was a weekly Fox News guest, and a few have earned upwards of $500,000 in their first year as an author. So there's many, many examples of that. I'll showcase a few of them with some major companies that you have actually heard of here. So our team's results, #1 bestseller in categories like business and money, or crazily enough, the highly competitive art category. And the cool thing about being a bestseller is that you're sandwiched with other people you've heard, like Jonah Berger's Contagious or The Tipping Point. Our clients, when you get to be a bestseller, you get to be positioned right alongside those people. When you are a new bestseller, you generally get a second piece of digital real estate, which is in hot new releases, and that gives you extra free marketing when you perform. Matter of fact, my own book, I had ACL surgery last year, and I told my team, I said, I'm going to be going under the knife, so we probably have to delay my book launch. They said, don't be crazy, we can do it while you're asleep. And I was #1 bestseller in 3 categories while I was getting my knee cut open. How crazy is that? We've had people that have done 8 years of thinking about their book, and then within 90 days, boom, it gets done. Another gentleman here who was a former school teacher and launched his book all within a few months, and right after his book came out, he did his first event, and now charges upwards of $25,000 in consulting fees. Randy is one of the examples we have. He came out with a book, The Power of Legacy, and did some blogging and some video work. And the cool thing about it was he became an Amazon bestseller, right? #1 in a couple of categories, #5 in another one. And right after that, he did some, people started following him. And now he's on Fox News almost every week talking about the police and racism situation here in the United States. It's very, very fascinating to see him grow, because even one of his blog posts, video blogs, went from 0 to over 1 million. This is the first 3 days at 750,000 views, but went to over 1 million in under a week. That's organic. He put absolutely nothing except the 5,000 paid behind it. And that this all happened because of him being a best-selling author. So with that being said, who here, raise your hand, who here would like to become a best-selling author in the next 30 days? Have any hands going up there? Yes, 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 a few, okay.
Yep.
It's a great thing to have, not just as a feather in your cap, but as a major foundational strategy as an entrepreneur, right? Now, as Ken told you, I'm sort of a realist here, so I'm going to tell you there's some bad news. Okay, the bad news is very, very blatant, and people avoid it in my industry. I do not. Okay, there's no money in being a bestseller. Yes, you heard me correct.
Shocker.
The typical, pardon me?
Shocker.
Yeah, the typical Amazon bestseller is totally worthless unless you do these things. These are the things to write down or keep note of. Okay, #1, you have to strategically campaign your message. It's not a launch, it's a campaign. You got to have a follow-through sequence. You got to do something the day after your launch is over. You've got to build genuine goodwill and network with influencers, not just your fans, people who love you and your parents and your kids who say, yeah, daddy's an author, but influential people, okay? And a key point here is using your book to develop other high-priced products. And don't wait until your book is done to do that. Do it at the same time. So it gets a little overwhelming, but I'm going to get you out of that. So there are non-author out there. Most of us are non-authors, right? We have frustrations. We've seen our competition, right? We see people in our industry who already are published, and they're getting the good deals, right? They're getting the high-priced products out there. They're getting featured in their industry trade magazines or speaking gigs, right? They're published and they're recognized as leaders in your industry. When you're not an author and you see them out there, you know you have knowledge which is perhaps equal or greater than some of your own mentors. But your knowledge, if it's not in a book, if it's not being talked about by other people, your knowledge and experience is trapped. And I don't know how else to put it, but you're unknown. You know, you're a legend in your own mind, okay? And therefore, your position in the industry is insignificant. You know, you don't have any significance in your industry. If you retired or if you went away, the industry carries on without you. There's no gap. Okay, that's what a non-author really needs to face when they look at themselves in the mirror. Now, authoring, of course, creating a book of quality, it's a pain in the rear end. Okay, 84% of people have thought about writing a book. Less than 1% ever do. And I'm talking about actually creating a real book here, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. There's a big difference between cranking out a 20-page Kindle book and crafting a well-developed, interesting book that your audience wants to read. Okay? See, most authors have been lied to. We all have been told by a lot of these gurus, oh, you got to be an author. You've got to be a best-selling author. You'll be rich and famous then. Okay, there are approximately 600,000 new books coming out every single year just in the United States. New ones every year. So how many of those are bestsellers? And how many of those bestsellers are still around a year later? Not many. Okay, so here's what you're going to learn during this presentation. I'm going to show you how to create a book, a title, and a message that is guaranteed to sell before it's even written. That's strange, but true. I'm going to show you how to craft, but not necessarily write, your book in an intelligent manner so you can work on your business. I'm going to show you how to eliminate the overwhelm so you can enjoy the benefits of being a published author, not just the accolades. Okay? It's a new and a better way to leverage your personal or your business brand. All right? Now, this may be for you, it may not be for you. Here's a couple quick questions to double check on. Number one, if you'd like to have a waiting list of hungry clients, yeah, this is for you. Or if you struggle with acquiring qualified leads, you want to have customers who are calling you, ready to order, saying, hey, I heard about you, I'd like to order your stuff, right? That's good. Or if you want to be positioned as a go-to person in the media calls and get that free exposure instead of paying for it in advertising, this is definitely for you. So a quick background on Doug, just so you know where I'm coming from on this. I have a riches to rags story. Now, normally people talk about their rags to riches story. I've got the opposite one, so that makes it, you know, perhaps more interesting. I don't know. But I founded a real estate academy back in the early 2001. And I was a real estate investor, and I was encouraged to teach other people how to invest in real estate. So I did rather well with that. I was had monthly seminars, upwards of 300 people a month. We did very well. We had quote-unquote business success. I had an office building, and I had staff. We did very well. We had payroll, all those things, the trappings of a traditional business. I even hosted a radio show on ABC for a few years. So we looked good, we smelled good, we did very well as a real estate education company, all right? But the media was a thing that was very appealing to me. I gave my staff a challenge one day. I said, you know what? I'm sick of spending, you know, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 a month on advertising, trade shows, and things to build to get clients. We had an outbound call center that we did to call people to get them to enroll in our academy. I said, can't we do something different? And my VP of marketing happened to be in the media previous to working with my company. She had some experience in media. So we said, what about hiring a PR firm and doing PR work? And I didn't know what that was or what it meant. It sounded expensive, right? Most PR firms charge $10,000, $15,000, upwards of $20,000 a month. Well, I found a solo guy in Chicago who charged $5,000 per month. So that was a good deal for me because that was about half our monthly budget. So good. Okay, great, David, let's do that. So he was going to put me in the media, and I'm going to get my leads that way. Make sense? Okay. So what happens the first month? Nothing. Second month? Nothing. Third month, then I find $5,000. And he says, Doug, I finally got you an interview. Oh, good. It was a single story, okay? A journalist called me up and took about, I don't know, 3 minutes on the phone with me talking about the real estate market. And it was going to be in the Seattle Times. Now, I'm a Chicago-based education company. We have, desks, chairs, a whiteboard. We actually taught people a class like they had to show up. It wasn't online. It was a physical business. And I said, what the heck do I want with a Seattle Times article about me? I can't do any business with that. And he said, just shut up and take the interview. It's your first one. So I had spent upwards of $15,000 with this guy. I got my single story in the Seattle Times, and then something crazy happened. There was actual result from that. And the result was the story got syndicated. That's a key word you're going to hear a couple times during this presentation. This all relates to books, guys, so stick with me on this. This is very important. But the story was syndicated and got picked up by MSNBC and Chicago Tribune and a couple other outlets, Yahoo Finance. And my phone rang from people all over the country saying, hey, I heard about this thing you do, about this real estate training. Can I do that? Now, I had a local company, but when somebody calls you and wants to give you $6,500 to train you, you don't say, no, I don't do that. You find a way to do it. So that was the month we started our online academy. And that one news story generated $32,500 in business from one article. That got Doug excited. That got my staff excited. We decided we need to learn how to do this media leverage thing. And the next thing was, well, let's do some more business with it. So we took the media leverage, and I was on, did more work in the radio, did more articles, did some magazine writing, and of course, the most important thing was, how about what's going to happen by leveraging that into a seminar business? And within about 9 months, we had leveraged our brand and our media attention into a single seminar where we grossed $3.6 million in one night. Now, I don't say that to impress you. I just let you know that this stuff actually works. So how does it fit in with the book? I had Laptop Lifestyle. I'm like, okay, I got my business cranking. I go do seminars on the radio. What do you think people are asking me for? Hey, where's Doug's book, right? Where is Doug's book? I want to read about him. I can't come to the seminar. I hear you on the radio. How do I get more about, learn more about you? And I didn't have a book. I didn't know the first thing about it. But I figured I would go write one. Okay, so I'm a smart guy. I've got quote-unquote business success. I had an airplane. I had to get away from the office, so I flew to Turks and Caicos for 10 days, and I wrote every single day. I could just put my nose to the grindstone, turn the cell phone off, and write. That's what I did. So I was under the illusion of business transference. I could take my business success from point A and transfer that into point B, being an author, right? So I'm on my own. I'm a solopreneur. I designed my own cover. I did my own title, my own content. I got the whole thing done in 12 days. Like people talk about these things called bestseller in a weekend. I was doing my own bestseller in 10 days. And what is the result of creating a book in 10 or 12 days? Okay, what's the real result of that? I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a professional guru saying you come to my workshop and we'll create a book in a weekend, or you do it on your own. The result is it's going to be something like this. Okay, this, in my opinion, I gave myself an award. I call this the ugliest book cover in the history of mankind, because this is my title: Real Estate Yada Yada Yada. Right? No more techniques. Get over your fears and just do it. So it was ugly. It was stupid. I was so embarrassed after it was all done. I didn't even promote it or publish it. It was a mess. Right? So I'm not technically a writer. Most of us aren't. It takes months and years of work to creatively craft stories and position it and get that all done. The quality, what do you expect in 10 days? The cover was worse, the title ridiculous. The result was zero. Nothing happened with my efforts here. So, okay, my first foray, like a lot of things we try as entrepreneurs, didn't work. No big deal. I'll just do it again. Uh-oh. What happened next? It's called 2008. Okay, the real estate market tanked. I was $3 million in debt. I went through not just one foreclosure, but 19 foreclosures, bankruptcy, divorce, devastation, no value. Has anyone relate to this? You don't have to raise your hand. That's okay. We've all had some ups and downs in our life. So this is my riches to rags story. I went down to the rag level where I was basically extremely depressed, totally empty. The there were some borderline really bad thoughts going on here, guys. That's all I can share right now. It just wasn't good. You can't stay down there for too long without, going on meds or taking your own life. So I was right at that edge, and I had to do something because I was the happiest guy in the room up until 2008. So what was my solution? You'll never guess what it was. Write another book. Okay, since my first one was so awful, I got to do it again. But this time I wanted to figure out the proper way to position and sell and build a brand out of the book. So I bought some courses, perhaps like you have. We all have what's called shelf help, right? We buy something and it stays on our laptop. We never open it up again. But I did something else. I had the fortune of actually interviewing a lot of authors and entrepreneurs on my radio show. So I was reconnecting with them when I got out of my funk and said, what is it about being a best-selling author that makes you also a successful entrepreneur? I wanted desperately to connect the book thing with the business thing, because I can tell you right off the bat, there's definitely a disconnect between 99% of all books and the 1% who actually make it. Okay, so I talked to some of the people that I had on my radio show, like Robert Kiyosaki and Greg Reed, Laurel Langmeyer, Rhonda Burton, and I would speak. I had a chance to talk with Zig Ziglar about his book and his business, and Michael Drew, who's done 84 New York Times bestsellers, Gary Goldstein, who produced Pretty Woman, Under Siege, just people that you know or know of, right? Michael Gerber from the E-Myth. And what I learned was there was a turning point in my brain, and I'm going to give it to you right now, okay? Don't study authors. I only study proven businesses who happen to be authors. And I study people who use positioning instead of gimmicks. There's a lot of gimmicks to get a book done and to market it, become a bestseller. We even use some of these gimmicks, okay? I'm not going to hide those. I'm going to share those with you today. But the positioning of it is what's really critical. I'm going to focus 90% of my education with you today on how to position that book, right? And I've developed unique methods now from that I can tell you, I've been in this industry for quite a while. No one's telling you what I'm going to share with you right now, okay? And this is what it is. It's the effortless author. It's an upside-down 5-step method to do everything in reverse, to sell, publish, and then create your best-selling book, okay? That's in the right order. We're going to sell it first, then publish it, then create it. Sounds crazy? Well, so is this, right? In terms of you're doing it wrong, okay? Look at that picture for a second. This person obviously is doing it wrong, right? That's not the way you put a boat in the water. And most authors are also doing it wrong. Ken mentioned earlier about having passion, and it's good to have passion as an entrepreneur. Guess what? Nobody gives a rat's behind about your passion. They just don't. They care about their passion, right? So the traditional method of publishing is write it, launch it, campaign it, build an audience maybe, and then hopefully establish authority from your book. That's traditional method. The upside down method is the exact opposite. First, we're going to build the audience, pre-selling your passion by basically uncovering theirs. Then we're going to establish authority, which is given to you, never asked for. Then we're going to campaign with collaboration with your readers, and then we'll create the content. Sometimes having the readers help us create the content. Then we can launch with a large team of fans. So that makes sense. This traditional method is we write, edit, wait, publish, wait, review, blah, blah, blah. It takes years to do this right for real books, and we hope for the sales. The leverage timeline is community curated. We position it first. We help them. Our audience helps us create the content, and then they help us market it. So boom, everything happens fast this way. The sales before it's published. So here are the 5 steps I'm going to share with you. I'll get to the teaching part. Number 1, I'm going to talk to you how to build your audience by asking and engaging real conversations with actual people. We're going to create new networks, follow and serve other influencers. We're going to have that content created not only by ourselves, but by our readers and audience. And we're going to then talk a little bit about design and publishing tonight with a brand that actually pops out and makes sense. And then we're going to do a launching campaign to become not just a best-selling author, but a bestseller of your high-priced products. Books are cheap. It's the longest period of time to create that book, and it's the lowest priced item in your inventory. All right, keep that in mind. So step 1, let's talk about building an audience. You got to pre-sell an idea. You got to actually ask and listen to your audience before you commit to your topic. You might be the best plumber in Poughkeepsie, and I admire you for that. I had a client who was an HVAC guy who wanted to do a book on heating and air conditioning. Have you ever read a book on heating and air conditioning? I haven't. And I almost walked out of the meeting because after 40 minutes, I didn't know how to make this guy money with a book until I came up with the idea of doing a fictional story based on real events on smoke detectors that had failed and the whole people died in the building. It was a great novel, and I put his father in there as the actual hero. So it was basically creative nonfiction. Anyway, I digress. Most of your audience already knows your industry. If you regurgitate The Secret, if you just regurgitate how to influence people, you're not going to make a dime, and you'll be laughed at, not overtly, but subconsciously. People are going to say, yeah, I already know that. I heard that Tony Robbins quote. Thank you very much. You're not that brilliant. If you can't position yourself intelligently, if you're doing a book in a weekend, you are going to fail. Your audience is probably just as smart as you. Talk to them as such, okay? When you address them boldly and you're honest with them, I guarantee you'll show up like nobody else, and because of that, you'll sell more. So this pre-selling of ideas, you got to be careful because your ideas might not be what they want to hear, right? If you build your reader base before your book is written, you're going to win. And the danger there, the warning is you may discover that your initial theme is not what they want. You've got to uncover their burning desires. That's what I want to share with you right now. When you do this right, you'll get a responsive list for pre-selling your book, and that's what this is going to be. We're going to focus on. An entrepreneurial author collects actual data from their audience. They design a book or the products that are actually requested. People actually tell you, I would like to see this. And then the thing that most people don't do with social media is they don't actually talk to people anymore. You know, you just chat or you post. When was the last time you picked up the phone and had an honest conversation with one of your clients or prospects? Or if you have real cojones, talk to somebody who said no to you and say, thank you very much. Would you mind telling me how I can do a better job for somebody else? Okay? When you ask for editorial input before you publish your book, man, you're going to be a mile ahead of everybody else. Okay? And then you can include them as launch partners because they're a part of your process. They'll feel like this is my tribe too. Okay? So here's an example I want to give you. I created a dating profile. Now, I used a pen name, so you cannot look this up, on a book I was planning, okay? And the book's theme was tested on a target audience before I even created the book. And I mean thoroughly tested. I got ideas, I got input, I got actual content from over 900 people. These are actual conversations. I didn't do a survey monkey where they clicked the button. I had actual text conversations with 900 people, getting all these very specific data points. It took months to do this. But when I was done, and I collected stories from about 20 of them, it was pretty cool. So here's the flow chart here. Target audience on my left, right? Dating network on the top. I did three things. I had some ideas, I asked them about their ideas, and I got engagement from my target audience. And from this, over 900 people, you understand what their real burning desires, what they're actually talking about. Not what you think they are, not your assumptions, but reality. And because of this process right here, asking and engaging, we did something pretty powerful. Okay, this one simple strategy pre-sold 500 books before it was even written. Because after these conversations were over, and I asked some of them to submit stories, I put up a sample. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to create this book. Here's what's going to be in it. Here's the stories. Here's the burning desire. Here's the solution. Who wants to pre-order? Boom. We hadn't even written the book yet. Now, the cool thing about that was we had 900 data points on a very targeted audience that is actually pretty massive. And because of that, we launched a new dating company with an international website and pre-registered over 175,000 people with first-year revenue estimated at over 1.7 million. That's on a book idea, guys. That's what this is about. It's not about selling books. It's about what you're going to do with that book, okay? So raise your hands. Who here would like to sell 500 books before it's written and make some money? Make 500 grand or more, perhaps. Raise some hands. I want to see the hand button there going there. Yes, yes. Okay.
There you go.
Right? Who would? That's one of those dumb, like, duh questions. Of course, we all would.
Serena does. That's for sure.
Ah, awesome. So we understand the audience is going to create the content for us. We're going to tap into the real hearts of their passions, not your own. Now, how do you actually get the message out there besides the reader themselves? We got to create new networks. Okay. So give me a couple extra steps here to explain what I mean about this. Wouldn't it be great to win the lottery? We've all maybe, perhaps a lot of us have played a ticket or two because, hey, I got to toss a buck down. Do you know what the odds are of winning these things? Okay, I pulled a screenshot off the Australian lottery. It was 76 million to 1. Most people don't look at lottery as their retirement plan, right? It's just hey, maybe this will work, right? 76 million to 1. Those are pretty bad odds, wouldn't you say? Yeah. Okay, let's talk about your network and people who know who you are. What are the odds you are found online? Do you know there's over 861 million websites? That's several billion pages out there, and it grows by hundreds of thousands an hour. What are the odds your site is coming up in someone's search, right? Where is yours ranked? Do you know that it's probably better to win the lottery than to get found online? That's sad. Who's visiting your website? You know, this is worse than the lottery if you think you can, build a website and be found. So networking is all about being found at the top of things. Now, what would happen to you in your business if you were featured right here on Forbes at the very top of the heap of media? It'd make a difference, wouldn't it? It's much easier than you think. In a minute, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it. Okay? Oops, wrong way. Sorry. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, media, in the news. This is what I specialize in. Obviously, I love publishing and love doing the book thing. That's a key component of this. But just getting the book out there without getting other people to talk about it is a fool's game, right? We want to actually get the media talking about it. So who does that include? You need to laser target the correct influencers. If you're a technology guy, you're not going to submit your book to the cooking editor, right, of your local newspaper. You need to find and create a database of the correct people who would love to share your content. Okay. Now, would you like to be on Good Morning America or the Today Show? Well, of course you would. Well, guess what? They're not going to be calling you. I'm sorry. It's just they're not. But you know who will love to talk to you? Is your local paper. I know we don't read papers anymore, guys. I get that. My parents still do. And strangely enough, some people still look at the newspaper. I don't know who they are, except a few, but it doesn't matter. And I'll explain why in a second. But you can go to your local editor, your local reporters, and tell them you're an author and have something coming out. And you'll get featured in the newspaper. And this is critical because the regional and national guys are lazy. They usually go to other sources to get their stories. They don't go and do hard journalism and go and try to dig up a story like Woodward and Bernstein. They go to other newspapers and get, oh, that's cool. I saw that in the local newspaper. Maybe that'll be good for the state of Connecticut here. Okay. So when it comes to being in the news, a lot of people think that's doing like a press release, but I don't do those. Nobody reads those things. Those are Jane in accounting got promoted to operations today. That's the press release. Nobody reads that crap except the people who write it and pay for it, really. News stories, the way we do news stories is a very, very unique method. I'll share with you in a little bit here, but it gets people attention. It gets syndicated, right? I mentioned it earlier. You get shared when you do it right. I'll give you some bonus content at the very end of this presentation with your permission here. So who do you actually contact? Well, there's actually editors that are responsible for what gets printed. There are journalists, and there are reporters, right? There's a difference between all three of those. I'm not going to get into details, but you all happen to have met one tonight, okay? Because guess who is an actual journalist, okay? Me. So I actually have a column in Newswire. It gets syndicated to over 100 other news channels every single time I write a story up, and I write stories that are already being read. This is the key part that most people don't do. I do a thing called newsjacking, where I'll take a current trending topic. Let's say Kim Kardashian gets a nose job or something. I will talk about Kim Kardashian, and the expert I will bring in is you, the beauty expert. So you'll be commenting on a trending topic on a current event, and you get published in the news. It's just that simple. But you have the right connections to do that. Authors are the ones who get, unless you're a politician, a criminal, or an athlete, you're not going to be in the news. I mean, authors get in, but they're usually in the bottom rung there. So you've got to be very, very special. You've got to have the right credentials and the right connections and a great story to get in the news to do that properly. So in summary, you guys got to target key influencers. Start locally, and don't ask to be in, serve them first, and that's the way you're going to get in the news. Step 3, we can finally get to content creation. We've got our audience built. We're targeting some influencers. Now let's go ahead and do some content creation. Okay, I love this picture of this baby, right? Why do I show that? Because boring is very, very bad for your business. Seth Godin said that the reason you're not getting out there and getting business is probably because you're boring. You got to surprise your readers with something intelligent, unique, and useful. Okay? So who else is saying what you're saying? How are you positioned in your niche? Are you saying something that everybody else is saying? Most likely you are. You think it's different, but when you get on the phone with me to talk about your book, I'm going to ask you some very hard questions on how to make sure that you're saying something unique. You know, there are some things you can say that nobody else can say. It's a personal story or personal journey. Coming up with a unique position in the marketplace, like Robert Kiyosaki did when he first came out and said, a home is not an asset, and he proved it mathematically by ledger sheets. That was a very unique thing that had never been said before. When you come out with something like that and you can prove it, you've got a winner on your hands. Okay? When you see other people who are your competition, they all have gaps. They're too big, they're too slow, they're too whatever it is. You need to leverage their gaps to your benefit. Okay? This is why I go to crowd-created content, because it makes my job so much more easy. When you want to find out what to talk about, there's a trick I learned from my friend Robert Curry, who goes to Amazon and looks up 3-star reviews on other books in his industry. Now, why would he look up a 3-star review? Well, 5-star reviews are written by people who love you. 1-star reviews are written by people who are just angry, you know. But a 3-star review, think about what a 3-star review means. It means somebody's taken the time to read your book and give you constructive criticism. Now, if you were to take the time, which most of you won't, but I hope you do, to take the time and go and read 100 reviews from your competitors on their books and look for all the 3 stars and build a spreadsheet and write down what is missing from their books, and it's probably located in the 3-star review. If you find a trend in there, you've got a unique book on a topic that's not being addressed in your industry. It's magic, okay? You can go to Facebook comment and do your own ideas of finding that gap. Or you can use surveys. You can even do a crowdfunding project to find out what's missing in your industry or niche, okay? When you do that and take the time to actually do it, which, again, I love to say that most authors do, but the reality is most of them are just excited and passionate and either crank something out on a weekend or write what they think is important for the year or so, and nobody cares. Ask your audience. Get your community to help you create the content. Okay? Your fans, they have ideas. They have stories. They have pain. Okay? Your position and your perspective, that's the solution. Okay? And then, of course, how do you get this all done? This is where the overwhelm kicks in for most people. How do you get all this content? How do you get it written and edited and proofed? Well, I don't hardly do any of it. I outsource the whole darn thing. And I do it with a lot of thought. I don't just go on Fiverr and hire somebody, right? I'm a journalist, but I hire journalists quite often. My ghostwriters have been vetted. I've got a Pulitzer Prize-winning editor. I've got 3 graduate degree proofreaders. I've got a full-time cover designer and an interior designer that is amazing, right? I outsource 99% of everything I do when I create a book. So can you. You just have to do it right. Don't go cheap, go smart. If you want to talk about that later, I'll be happy to share with you what I've learned from the years and years of outsourcing. There's plenty of money to be wasted, but there's ways to do it smart. Step 4 is design and publish. We'll go this one pretty quickly because this is very visual now. Books are judged by their cover, right? We all know this, okay? Being unique is not necessarily useful. So just being cool or trendy doesn't really help. Like that fork, it's different, but it's not very useful, okay? Positioning 101, here's a couple of tips for you. Position inside your industry, you know, what's important to your people, okay? Position your unique solution above and beyond everything else. Don't position just any old book on how to make money or something. What's unique about your method? What's unique about what you're going to say? And then don't put your picture on the cover of the book, guys. Nobody knows who you are, okay? Position your brand. Position the solution, not your ego. Here's what I mean by this. Here's a positioning example I found. I had to black out this poor woman's face, and so look at this brand. Okay, this brand is coaching is good. Coaching is good. That's hilarious. I just love it.
That's great.
Poor gal. Yeah, it better be, right? Now here's one. A friend of mine just moved to Chicago. Erica Napolitano was at a TED Talk. Look at this brand. The big bold red, the red hair, the red play button, the red TEDx boulder thing. I mean, it's just beautiful. And her whole TED Talk, which I find fascinating, is called Rethinking Unpopular. Not being popular. We all want to be popular and luminaries in our industry. She's like, no, I don't. I want to be unpopular. And like, wow, who wants to hear that? I do. It's a great TED Talk. Look it up. Attention to details, right? Test your message out. Don't just think it's cool. Actually have people give you feedback on it. Get real testimonials, and then package your stuff up professionally, because your mind thinks in pictures, right? One of my favorite books of last 2 years ago, actually now, is Contagious by Jonah Berger. Look at this image. I could remove the title, just show that picture of that light bulb dandelion, and know exactly what this book is about. That is brilliant. Ideas that catch on. Think why things catch on, right? Your mind thinks in pictures regardless of the title. Okay? So if you're doing a relationship book called Programmed for Love, you might want to put a more attractive picture on the cover versus the ugly sweater thing. I don't think that's really programmed for love. That's programmed for knitting in the 70s. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, last up, launching campaign.
Exactly.
Okay, this is you like that one, Ken? That was good. That's a real book. It won some awards, like worst cover in the history or something. Who is doing the talking? Now, I've seen this slide before. I had my designer remake it for us, but there's 4 things we touched on very lightly today. Marketing is when someone telling you, hey, this guy I love this. I'm a great lover. This is John talking to Marsha. He's marketing. I'm a great lover. If he's advertising, John says to Marsha, I'm a great lover. I'm a great lover. I'm a great lover. Now, if Jane talks to Marsha, PR, trust me, he's a great lover. And then, of course, branding is Marsha finally talking to John saying, I understand you're a great lover. Now, I've used the words today, branding, marketing, PR, advertising just a little bit. Any one of these things by themselves will not work for you. You cannot just do marketing. You cannot just do branding. You cannot just do PR or advertising. You must do all 4 of these in concert so that it actually works for you. Because the more energy you put into just talking about yourself, the more people go, your ego is pretty darn big. The more other people talk about how great you are, that's viral, that's branding 101. It's just that most people think brand is about the image and the logo and stuff. I don't care about that. What I care about is other people saying, I understand you're great at X. That's the holy grail right there. It's getting your unique stance authentically delivered by other people, other luminaries in the media. This all relates to being a best-selling author, right? So get the media talking about your book, right? All of my authors are published in all of these media channels, day in and day out, all the time, because that's credible, that's relevant, okay? Once you've done that, you have to reposition your existing content. If you're not doing an ebook version, audiobook, a webinar, a workshop, a teleclass, you are missing out on 99% of your revenue, and you're not going to be happy being a broke author. So later today or whenever you want to chat with me, ask about our content creation systems. You can actually use your book to create your webinar series. Use your book to create that retreat. It's faster than creating a book, and it's generally 100 to 1,000 times more profitable. Key point. Do not do a book without having something else to sell right away. Don't wait for that. Okay? There are challenges here. Okay, I'm not going to gloss over these. There are 600,000 to 1 million new titles every single year. Okay? Even if you get to be a bestseller, okay, who was a bestseller last week in the New York Times? Anybody know? I don't think so. Okay? It doesn't matter, guys. It's good to have. It's good for your authority status. But if you don't leverage it beyond that, no one's going to find your book. No one's going to know who you are. You've got to leverage it. Okay? So the bestseller imperatives are number 1. You've got to do it. You can't be a successful, recognized industry expert without being a best-selling author. So you've got to get that done. But that's the first step, not the last. You also have to develop those high-priced products from your book by repurposing your chapters and creating a physical product, coaching, whatever you want to do. It's critical to do those things. The pains we faced, we all have overwhelm. That's understandable. Most authors are, totally unknown. And your unique perspective, it can change your business, but you really need experience. You really need resources. And most importantly, you can't do this stuff alone. You got to have a team. So we get overwhelmed. We sit like deer in the headlights. or we just don't do it, or we say we'll start next month or next year, or we go to a bestseller in a weekend thing and it's crap. Don't do any of those things. There's frustrations, I understand that, but there's also benefits. You already know you have a book inside you, and you know that becoming a best-selling author can definitely crush your competition. You can stand out. You can be the next speaker at your industry event, right? Becoming a recognized author will create more sales for you, hands down. But where are you today? Okay, where are we today is probably where you were 12 months ago, right? We've all heard this before. So the question you should ask yourself is, where are you going to be 12 months from now? Say we're talking about this a year from now. Where will you be without a book? Well, duh, most likely be the same place you are today without a book. It's not going to change, okay? So what change will you make in your life to make this difference? Well, you got to get the book done. That's it. So raise your hands. Who would like the benefits of being a best-selling author in the next 30 days? Hit that little hand button real quick, and then I'm going to give you a couple more ideas here. Yes, yes.
There they go. There they go.
Look at the hand. Absolutely. Okay. I want to show you a quick case study on a gal who came to me back in, was it August this year, who became a bestseller in less than 30 days. She already had a Kindle book done, self-published with her own cover. This was the cover. 10 hot tips for social media success. Wow, this is 2015, really? Social media success? Okay. Pretty ugly cover, right? Looks like from something in the 60s.
Kind of boring.
We converted this to that. Okay. 10 hot tips with some fire going on there, right? That's
good.
That's a hot book. That looks like it was designed in this century. Okay. Yeah. We also did some stunning graphics go with it. Got a feature on Amazon. Did some 3D work. Made her an international best-selling author in the USA and Australia, #1 in computers and technology. We got into a hot new release, #1 bestseller, and got her Google Plus positioning. Did a book trailer for her. Got her tweeted to the media, and did a couple of stories about her. Again, we took a trending topic about medical diagnosis in social media, and it was a very, very hot topic when this came out. So we had her comment on it, and her story got picked up by over 100 news stations. So that best-selling thing tends to really go viral when you position it uniquely in the news. Becoming a best-selling author like these people is great. It's important. Without writing a word, now the overwhelm is gone, right? So I'm not going to show you these videos here. The people just some case studies. But we even did a fiction book last year, which was very difficult because fiction is not easy to do. One of our clients became an LPGA magazine contributor. One of my clients got featured on NBC's Biggest Loser. And over again, you can be positioned next to people like Oprah Winfrey, Brendan Bashar, Louise Hay. Dr. Srini's book got coordinated with a movie launch called Escape Fire about the healthcare industry. And we called the producers, and they collaborated with us on the movie launch with his book launch. How cool is that? Having your book next to Malcolm Gladwell's or Napoleon Hill, that's pretty cool. One of my clients, Georgia McCabe, got a $7,500 advance from Fuji before her book was even written. They called her up. She was speaking at CES. They asked her for her book. She said, "Oh, you mean my book, blah, blah, blah," because she had written one previously. And they said, "No, we want your social media book." And being a good entrepreneur, she said, "Oh, okay, I'll bring that one." This was November 5th. Okay, and we had the CES show coming up in 50 days. Not a weekend, because it had to be a real book and it had to be crafted, written. But they sent her an advance for the book because she said yes. So that was sort of cool. Jeff West retired from Aflac, and the very month he retired, he got a speaking gig. And within just a matter of a couple weeks after that, 3 speaking gigs, 15 grand in his first month from being a published author, getting coaching clients left and right. Had he not had a book out, how would have people hired him to speak? Oh, I'm a speaker? Got to be an author too. Okay? So getting in the hot new releases section, your bestseller can be right up here with these people. If you want to do that, I'm going to show you how you can. So what would it feel like to be a bestseller? You know, it feels good, guys. It does make a difference. So take a minute and imagine your business with this logo next to your name. Okay? Imagine you as a title, best-selling author, getting more business than you can handle, getting a waiting list of clients, being in the news, turning your business dreams into an actual reality. Now, I'm hired by some of the world's top marketers to create and leverage their book and their brand. And now you're going to have a chance to benefit the way they do. Okay. So one more time before I tell you my offer here. Who here would like to be a best-selling author? We have a few hands going up. Yes, yes, yes.
Here they are.
Okay.
Here they are.
All right. So we can do this without making a bunch of mistakes, getting massive media exposure, and using my experience, my team and connections, and build your multi-million-dollar brand and start this all really in the next 30 days. So by the first year rolls around, we can be in motion. Okay. So the problem is getting the right content, managing a brand new process. You don't have experience with this, so we want to use experienced processes to pull this off while balancing your current business. These are the reasons 99.99% of people think they'll achieve this but never do it, right? Because of this problem. They don't have the experience, resources, branding, positioning, blah, blah, anything to pull it off. 99.9% failure. Okay, the only people getting rich are the printers and Amazon. So what if you and I could work together on your book and brand? Okay, raise your hand if you'd like us to do most everything for you. I see some hands go up if we can do most everything for you. This is not a course. I don't do courses. I just get it done. Is that of interest? Yes, I see some hands go up. Is that of the interest for you? That's what I do. Okay, I do not have a course to sell you here. Okay, I want to introduce to you my company, Authority Fusion. Now, let me show you how this process could help just 7 people today. All right? That's right. What I'm about to offer you, it's so time intensive on our part because we do all the work. I can only allow 7 people to participate. Let me tell you what is involved with it. We can talk about how this could work for you. The first thing I do is you understand I'm big into positioning, right? You'll meet with me over Skype to do a branding positioning time to establish a unique and compelling story that will attract clients to you like a magnet. Why? Because it's going to be their story too. We do book creation. We'll show you how to outsource the writing of your unique and compelling book that your potential clients have told you they want to buy. So there's no guesswork involved. Then we're going to do our bestseller launch. Your book will be categorized and 100% done for you. Once your book is crafted and published, you will be an Amazon best-selling author. We've done it 156 times and not failed once. That's how we guarantee it. Then we're going to create a book trailer for you. I can't show the video right now, but I can give it to Ken later. We do amazing book trailers. These would actually cost $1,500 if you had it done outside of this package, and it's included with this program I'm going to share with you. The journalist interview. You can be interviewed by either myself or another journalist and be put in the news. That interview could be a recording. It is recorded, but it could be a product that you could sell or even give away later on. The news story. I value our news stories at $20,000. Now that sounds crazy, but let me tell you something. The difference between writing sales copy, which is also very expensive, right? I mean, there are people that Ken and I have hired that charge $25,000 to $50,000 to write a very well done sales letter, and that takes a lot of traffic to get those sales letters to perform. But guess what people really go online for? Do they go online looking for things to buy? Yeah, sometimes. They go on. Who here has searched for a sales letter? You just don't, right? You're searching for news. So when you're searching for news or trending topics, talking about whether it's ISIS or politics, you're searching for news stories. You're reading stuff because you want to be informed. My stories are drafted and crafted by professional journalists and NLP experts. So your news story actually sells your product or service without selling at all. That's why it's valued so high. Of course, we syndicate that story to over 100 news organizations within 48 hours. So you get a news story about you every 2 weeks if you like. We also create a custom press kit for you. After your book is out, after your news stories are out, you want to be on radio, you want to be on TV like I have, you have to have an EPK or an electronic press kit. We custom design those for our clients. Okay. And then this is what it looks like. It's like 2 or 3 pages. It showcases your book and your links and all that to your news stories. Now, once you've got your press kit put together, there's a good chance the radio station or TV station might call you up to do an interview. And what happens if you go, you got to have some media training so you know how to be eloquent, how to get invited back, and how to sell without selling. So you get private. This is not a. This is why it's only 7 people, guys. You get private training with me for a full hour or 2 if you need it to become a professional guest for magazines, radio, and television. Okay, That one-on-one coaching you get is priceless. Okay, we'll strategize your next steps to get you more leads and sales well after your book is out. We also have a members area for continuous networking opportunities, video training, and connection to other bloggers, journalists, and other authors to share your story and to joint venture with. In other words, Authority Fusion is your complete, it's a $64,000 value of being on page one on Google over and over again without doing all that crazy SEO stuff, blogging, tweeting, and stuff that just doesn't work. Okay? This is only the start because I'm going to give you some bonuses if that's okay. I created a book called 21 Best Practices to be Interviewed and Published More Often. It's 7 Secrets of Broadcast Radio Excellence. Spending a few years in the radio, I've learned a few things on both sides of the microphone. So before you do any interview, you've got to get this training series. That's included with my program. But it gets even better because I also want to give you these logos. Once you're in the news, you've seen people who do this. They put these logos on their website, as seen on Fox News, as seen on CBS. But I go one step further than anybody else out there. When I give you these logos, they come with a hyperlink. And that hyperlink goes from CBS to your website. Ta-da! I challenge you to go on anybody else's website where they show their as seen on blah, 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 and have an actual hyperlink to the story, right? We do that. We put 100+ high page ranking backlinks on or give those links to you so you can put them on your website. That is, yeah, I'm very excited about that, actually. So it's true, you'll never need any SEO, article writing, or blogging ever again once you've done your book and your media program. If you wanted to advertise, you still can, but this is a rate card from the Wall Street Journal. It's $300,000 for a full page or $76,000 for a quarter page ad. So if you've got a good budget, you can do that too. I wouldn't recommend it. So you want to complete solutions to your problems, right? So that's why I'm going to do something that nobody ever does, and you'll see why it's restricted to 7 people. I want to give you an exclusive and very, very limited $5,000 bonus. I have some media contacts. I have over 700 names, addresses, emails, and phone numbers of radio producers so you can connect and get on the air. These are radio stations with 100,000 or more listeners. Okay? That is available to the first 7 people we work with today. Total value is easily over $1 million. I can't charge that. I'm dumb. I can't charge this actual value either because that's also out of most people's budgets, right? That's not going to happen. I'm not crazy. But if you want to be a member, $19,997 would be the value here that we could charge easily for what we're going to deliver to you today. Obviously, at this price, the program could not be for very many people. But what if it works for you like it did for these people? This gal got over 2,400 views on Newswire, right? Over 300 referral shares from Google+, and guess what she was featured on just a couple months ago. She was featured on NBC, the local station, and seen on The Doctors. Boom, her business exploded because of that. We did a news story and a book for this company, and they earned over $17,500 in new business. We did a news story for a solar company in Arizona, and 1,748 hits to the landing page in just 48 hours. Their ebook was a how-to book on solar energy. From those 1,700 hits, $210,000 in new business. So I'm sure you agree this program is very comprehensive and a complete solution. At $19,997, it may be out of the reach of most people, so I wanted to create a way to make it more accessible. So if you want to be validated, authority, and build a respected 6 or 7 figure company, would it be okay if I showed you how to make this entire system insanely affordable? Is that okay? Yes. Some hands going up still. Good. Okay. So imagine getting more traffic than you could handle, building a serious 6 or 7 figure business, and having us doing all the heavy lifting for you, and being able to get started right now. How will that feel for you and your business? How will that feel starting the new year with this stuff already in motion, us doing most of the work for you? It feels pretty good. The great news is you can. I've got a special limited offer I've just created, and you can start right now for $4,997. That's my special offer. Okay, that's it. Just $4,997. You won't be making much more than that, so it's an investment you get a return on, right? And when you do, this will be the best investment you'll ever make. So what if you made your investment back in only 30 days? That'd be worth it. You can. Okay, you just have to take action first. Now, 4997 is a guaranteed bestseller and media campaign, okay? And I want you to feel like this is the best decision you've made for the whole year, right? This is the number one thing. Thank you, Ken. This is the number one thing I've invested in. So if you'll allow me, and you're amongst the first 7 people, I want to do something, one more big gift for you here, actually, maybe 2 here. I have a program called Become the Authority. It's a ebook, blueprint, and 3 videos on how to become, not just build your fan base for your book, but for your business before it's created. It's a 997 program. I want to give that to you for free today. Okay? On those news stories for 19997, I'm going to double down. So I'm going to give you 2 articles, 2 news stories, and you could give one away, you could sell it yourself and pay for the whole program if you wanted to. Okay? So who likes all this free stuff, right? Free stuff is always good. We love free stuff. It's only available if you're serious about your business and getting published. Now, warning, I only have spot for 7. I apologize, I didn't type that one. It's 7, not 5 people. Okay? And this is because our service is all done for you. This is not training. This is done for you. So it's impossible to have, 5 bestsellers in the same category. I have to restrict that. Okay? Now, the value is $64,149. I told you it's $4,997, and Ken said, Doug, that's great. That's very fair. It's Christmas. What can you do? And I said, I'll do one crazy thing, Ken, but it's very crazy, and I need your help. Okay? Here it is. I can do this on one caveat. I've got to have 7 people a minute. I cannot do 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. It's got to be 7. When I have 7, I have some economies of scale with our PR, and we can do this whole thing for $997. Okay? There's a group buy, and when we have 7 people doing this, we're all going to be bestsellers together. We help each other out with the book. We actually are very active in the members area, and it works seamlessly. It's so much fun. So if you're still thinking about it, okay, I've got one last thing to drop in here. Okay, it's not even on the offer form. Okay, it's only available to you guys right now. Who here would like some extra leads for their business? A few hands go up. Yes, yeah, like 196,000 new leads. That's a lot. I don't know how big your list is. Your email list. It's 10,000. It's 2,000. It's 50,000. I have 196,000 emails that people have opted into receiving offers from strangers. Okay, it's a new program I'm launching. It's instantly delivered to you. It's the world's first crowdsourced list building program. Okay, it's very unique. It's not even launched yet, but I'm going to have charter membership to you guys who can be in there. So when it does launch, you are at the you're basically grandfathered in. You get the entire list from day one. It's very cool. It's not on the order form, but it's in there. Okay. So who's serious about getting started right now? All it takes is $997, and you are in. You can go to totalpreneur.com/fastbook, and we're ready to rock and roll. And qualified applicants get these things. All right. They get the outsource your book system. They get your book cover and graphics. We do that for you. You get your bestseller launch program, your book video trailer, your bestseller logos, your book endorsement, and you get a custom strategy session with myself. You get a journalist interview, story-based sales copy. You're published in the news. You're syndicated in the news. You get a graphic package of all those logos. You get very high PR backlinks. You're going to get one-on-one coaching with me. You're going to get media guest training that you can use for the rest of your life. You're going to get a media list of 500-plus radio producers. You get my Become the Authority system, a professional custom press kit for yourself, and this email list. All this for $64,000. I wish I could charge that. Yeah, $997. Can you see why I can only do 7 people? All that stuff. You're going to be talking with me, right? We're going to be become friends with this thing over the next couple of months. So $997, set an appointment, and you are qualified. All you got to do is go to totalpreneur.com/fastbook, and we are ready to rock and roll. So if you're ready to be a true authority, okay, not a fake one, I'm talking true here, you could be one of only 7 people who will have me to hold your hand to your success. So everything right now, $997. If that's $997 is tight for the holiday season, that's totally cool. We have a 3 easy payment plan of $397, so you can do it now for this month, and then the following 2 months, another 2 payments of $397, and it's all good. Totalpreneur.com. Can you spell that? TOTALPRENEUR. Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
I had to spell it. It's important. So, how do you qualify? It's very simple. We've got a deposit in a short form, and you go to totalpreneur.com/fastbook, and rate it. Now, remember, this is done. This is done for you. I schedule. I have family. I have other clients I'm serving. So it's very limited to the number of hours that I have. Okay. So I've got 7 spots. So ask yourself this question: why is now a great time to get started? That's a question you got to ask yourself. So you can become a best-selling author even if you don't have a book and want to write. It's only $9.97 or 3 easy payments, Ken. That is it, man. I am so excited to help your people out. So totalpreneur.com/fastbook. I am ready for Q&A. Whoever wants to ask me a question.
yeah, Les has a question, and that is, does it include creating the book and going for the bestseller on Amazon?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was point number 2. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm creating the book. I don't write the book for them. I help you get it written. But yeah.
Okay.
We work with other writers and journalists to help you do that.
Okay, so you'll connect them with someone who's going to get the book written for them. Then is that how that works?
Yeah, I've been doing this for years. I've got ghostwriters and editors. Basically, you get to access my resources. So instead of hunting, pecking, going on outsourcing sites and getting frustrated, and you just use my people if you want.
Awesome.
Okay. If you've already got content, most people have content and they can get it written, and we can just get it edited. The actual editing and writing, that's extra. You got to pay them to do that. But to get me to get it to be a bestseller, put you in the media, do the logos, do the design, get it all out there for you. We include all of that for you.
That would be your own book. Les is asking, is it an anthology or your own book? The idea, you guys, is to have it be your own book, not the anthology. Oh, let me. Can I talk about the anthology thing for a second?
Only if you let me bash it later. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do have a friend whose business is the anthology book, yeah. And the idea of the anthology book is that you have one chapter in the book, and there's one big headliner. So maybe it's the pick a celebrity.
Yeah, Brian Tracy does one. My friend Greg Reed does them. They're cool.
Right. So you have Brian Tracy on the cover, but it's your name with Brian Tracy. Right? So you're riding the coattails of Brian Tracy. I don't know about you, but I don't read those books ever. And people say, it's my new book. Well, it's not really your new book. It's that you wrote an article. It got published in that book. So it's really, to me, it's fake. And when people, show that stuff to me, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's great. Because you got to buy it, first of all. So you're spending a few $1,000s to get in it. Secondly, you got to buy a lot of copies of that book because you hand them out like a business card. But that does not make you the best-selling author with credibility that we're looking to do here. So, and like I said, I've got friends that do it.
What's your product with that?
Yeah. I mean, how do you?
What's your webinar series about?
You're not branding yourself there. You're not being known for anything. You're one little chapter in one book of 35 other people, or more, or less. And so I've never done one. I've thought about them, but luckily I never went forward with that. To me, that's. I mean, it's one alternative, but what Doug's put together for you right now is a significantly better one. I want you guys. I mean, let me put it this way. I know that each of you that are here listening to me right now want to get a book out, and I know a number of you, because you've already popped in the chat, and I'll leave your names out of it for a moment. I've said I've already got the book written, or I'm halfway done and I haven't gotten it finished yet, or I don't know how to get my book done. I mean, all those obstacles have been in the way, and I'll tell you what, having been introduced to people, I know one guy who will get your book to be on the bestseller list, New York Times bestseller list. I seem to remember his fee was $15,000 or $20,000.
No, New York Times generally. I mean, that's plus the books. I mean, my friend Michael does that, and you got to buy like $250,000 of books.
Yeah, I'm thinking about him and a few others as well. So I mean, it's a big deal. But at the end of the day, you guys, it's so what? Unless you're really using it to turn your business into a serious business and leveraging it, what's the point? We talk about doing books as the ultimate credibility piece and your business card. Well, that's lovely, but that's just the beginning. It really needs to be the foundation of a profit center for you, which is why this.
Yeah, if you haven't figured out, I'm a stickler for actually creating something that's of value. It could be a 30-page Kindle book. I'm not going to say you don't do that. You could do that for a couple $100, or you could do a 200-page, well thought out book and spend a couple $1,000s by having a ghostwriter help you out. You are responsible for your content. I will help you position it. You'll work with me to make sure that it gets positioned properly, and that I take care of everything else. I do the launch, the bestseller, the media, the training, all that comes with it.
Yeah, and you're going to learn. You're going to learn. I mean, for those of you that haven't written the thing yet, but you know what you want to do, I got to tell you, there are some really easy ways to create your book content. And I'll give you a quick little hint, because I don't want to digress. But one of the ways to do it is to write up some questions about things that you like, and then have someone interview you and record it, and there's your book. I mean, that's how some of the best books ever get created, is because that ghostwriter spends time and interviews and asks a lot of questions of
Oh
the.
yeah, if to that point, Ken, my first book, the one I was the ugly one, I just sat and wrote it, right? And when I was all done, it just felt flat. As soon as I figured out the journalism, the Q&A part of asking questions, all my clients, when I do my higher price program, we spend like 3 weeks on the phone, doing the real ghostwriting thing, where you're interviewing them and drilling down into their story and stuff. So it can be much more extensive to get a good story and brand out of it. But to get a short book done, yeah, you can do it. You can do it in a couple of weeks for sure.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, for those of you that do coaching and webinars and things like that, I don't know about you, but if you've caught yourself in any kind of a coaching scenario where you said really good things, where you've given someone advice and it's like, you like pinch yourself and go, that's really good stuff. That's what those. I tell you what, I have, just from all the years of coaching that we've done and some of the calls that we've done, I have hours and hours and hours of really great stuff that all we got to do is go in and find those gems, and there's a book. I mean, there's more than one book that's there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
Everyone's got
know a
5
lot
million.
of you have that there, or you got people that have said to you, where's your book? Or this is great stuff, or whatever. So talk to them and record yourself, because when you get into the zone of talking about your passion, that's when it happens, and
Right.
that's really where it
Can
goes.
I have we had two people just go ahead and take advantage of it. We got 5 spots left, so we're going to go to some more questions here before this thing gets all
Awesome.
eaten up.
Wait, well, by the way, who else is joining? I know Serena's already in, because you've already messaged me, and that's
Hmm.
great for you, kiddo. I'm really excited about that. Who else is coming in and joining? Just pop in the chat so we know to look for you. And if any of you are having questions getting in, just let me know, and
Yeah,
we'll sort that
I'm
out.
here to answer questions. I won't leave until they're all done.
Okay. Other questions? I have content. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I know Serena has content written already. So now
Great.
it'll be your positioning, right? Right, Doug?
Yeah, we'll go through it and together. I'll take a look at it, and if she has an editor, cool. If she doesn't, I'll give her my editor, and she can hire my editor to help her with it. But mainly, we'll talk about her audience and what they want to hear about, and validate her assumption of her content. Make sure that it's marketable. Make sure they actually want to buy it.
Yeah,
Because content, unfortunately, content is free nowadays. You everybody know that? Like, you can go on Google and get like anything, learn anything. I just Googling it. So your content has to be positioned so that it's unique and marketable, so people actually will give you money for it.
that's
That's the
great.
thought.
Well, and I mean, Serena, I know what Serena does, and she's really passionate about what she does. So it's the positioning of what we do with her that's going to make the huge difference. So
Cool.
yeah, I mean, yeah, and yeah, that's I'm concerned, but I think that's great. Um,
Hmm.
oh, great, Serena's already booked the appointment. That's fantastic. Serena is a high achiever. So
I love it.
Lexus is in. Awesome. That's great. That'll be good for you too. That'll definitely keep you focused on getting that result, because I want to see a giant success coming out of what you're doing. So that's great. Who else can we help? What other subjects are you guys writing on that you want some help with? We'll just take a couple more questions, because it looks like we got a few more people. So Ray says he's in. Um, Mary Lou says she's in. I'm looking else. So it looks like all of a sudden everyone's like now jumping, and they're realizing, oh my gosh, I better do this right now before it's too late.
Yeah, because that's 4. I've seen 2 come in so far. We have 4. We have 3 spots left. So
Okay.
let's get this thing filled up, because once it's filled up, we're gonna have to put the rest of you on hold for a little bit. But let's get done. We do this group thing, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna all help each other with our launches come January, February on our book. So it'll be very, very exciting.
I want to see you guys begin this coming year with not a whimper, but just full scale attack. I mean, this coming year is going to be amazing, and we have a lot of stuff planned for you and a lot of things planned for us. I want to get you on that path. So,
Yeah.
well,
Other questions I get are like, oh yeah, so content-wise, if you don't have any content, now some people say I don't know what to write about, or I'm not a good writer, I don't know what to say. Those are my favorite clients because we don't really need your thoughts. We need your audience's desires, and that's the key part of getting that engagement started with people you want to target in your industry, and go from there. If you don't have it, I mean, all your people I assume have some kind of business going on, but even if they don't have their own business, there are plenty of ways to discover gaps in an industry that you are interested in, and hiring someone to help you write that and making it a book and building a brand out of it. I mean, when this school teacher didn't have anything really original to say in his book, we made it a bestseller, made him a luminary, and he's got $25,000 consulting gigs out of it. So you can start from zero and get going pretty fast if you're an action taker and you're open to new ideas and listening to your audience.
Absolutely. Jeff has a great question. If you just published a book, can you still do the promotion aspect?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And Jeff, there's something else too. Depending upon how you published it, there are many books that have come out that have not made it on the first run, that have been republished with a different name and different branding that have become gigantic bestsellers.
Yeah.
One of them, I believe that the book that I'm referring to, because there are a couple different ones that are coming to mind, but I think the one that I'm talking about is Your Erroneous Zones. When it first came out, it was a boring title with a horrible cover, and it went nowhere. And the author found it. It was great content. Bought the rights to it, repositioned it, and bam, worldwide multi-gazillion-dollar bestseller. So,
right.
Absolutely, if it's positioned great, then we can expand it. Or actually, I'm going to say that Doug can expand it. It's his team that's doing this. I'm going to watch. But
for your book, we're doing yours.
I can't wait to get my book out. We're not going to tell anybody about what it is yet, but it's very exciting about what we're doing. So,
cool.
I mean, I'm a client.
So existing books, no problem. We can generally do it the way it is too, Jeff. We don't have to actually redo anything on it. We can just relaunch it the way it is. Even if it's, some books, people look at it and they love it. Sometimes it's okay. So it's up to you how deep you want to change it, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Great.
So it can be very easy, an easy transition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I see Cynthia's asking, what's the timing for getting the success? Well,
Great question.
Trying to understand the question.
Yeah, the operations on it is pretty straightforward. We go at your pace. Get some content created, get it edited, get it positioned, get it published. The bestseller portion of that is like the starting point, and that generally takes about 2 weeks to tee that up and execute that. Once that's done, you can continue working with me consulting, and we got to work on your upsells of your products to make sure you've got that in place. Some people are ready to go right away with that. Some people take some time to build their retreats or seminars or whatnot. I don't know. That part is really up to you. But the bestseller launch and the media attention all happens in about a 30 to 40-day window.
Awesome. Larry's asking about how does this differ from some of the other book in a weekend or retreat things that are out there?
Great. I'd love to talk about that, actually. I love all of my friends in my industry. I'm going to start with that. I actually love them. A lot of them are my actual friends. I've talked to them, and we all have different things that we do. And I've actually done some, and a couple of my friends do the anthologies. We occasionally refer each other business because some people want that. I do not, so I don't do it. But he's referred me business. I've referred him business. So let me start with that. Now that I've said that, I can't stand them. I believe that anything written in a weekend, I don't care what it is, okay, it's not going to work. I just got done talking to a friend of mine here in California who went to a workshop in San Diego last week where they had 70 people in the room doing their bestseller on a weekend, and they had templates set up. Templates for the cover, templates for the content, templates for the marketing. Everything was templated out. Oh, this is the formula. And 3 days later, everyone's a bestseller. $2,500. Now, you tell me who's going to read that book. and is going to refer that book to somebody else. You tell me that book is going to show up on CBS News saying, hey, this is a cool book written by a local author. I'm sorry, it's not. Okay? Anything done quickly is going to be, slipshod. I'm sorry, it's just not. It's got to be well thought out and positioned. Serious authors. You don't see Brian Tracy writing a book in a weekend. So shut up. Can you tell I'm passionate about that?
that was good. Okay, last question. How much time is it going to take for me to get this done?
We work together on the content, right? Your content, your thoughts, your audience. After that part's done, you have exactly 3 forms to fill out. And those forms are related to your contact information, and testimonials you may or may not have. And those forms go to my team to create the bestseller launch, to create your press kit, to create your media stories. It could take you 20 minutes to 2 hours to fill it out, depending on what you have. But I'm not even joking. We can do this bestseller launch, the media stuff, the training, all that in a few hours. Remember, this is not you don't get a membership site. You get me. I'm doing most of the work with you. I'm doing most of it for you. Our team is.
So Lexus is asking, what's your projected launch date? I'd like to put this into my marketing program for the year and add to my group program, same as the book group.
Yeah, if your book is done, we can get started in 7 to 10 days. I'm not sure if you want to launch over Christmas or not. Depends on what the book is. But holidays aside, generally about a 10-day window to get going, and then figures another week or so for the media thing. So the minimum time it would take is 2 weeks. I give everybody about 30 to 40 days. And I'll go longer. If you take longer, trust me. If somebody says, hey, I want to get started, I want to take advantage of this insane, stupid price you gave, Doug, but I can't do anything until January, February, that's totally cool with us. It doesn't affect my calendar at all. Probably will help, actually, but don't worry about that. The most important thing is, if you find any amount of value, which you should if you do math or if you looked at this industry at all, this is an insane, stupid value. You will not see this number again anywhere for what I'm doing.
I can tell you that's true because Doug's been whining about it for the past 3 days. when I told him you cannot do anything other than $997. I'm not letting you go higher. Not with guys.
People do press releases for $500.
Yeah, Serena says it's
I'm doing 2 news stories, media training, a press kit, and a bestseller launch for $997. Hello. I'm sorry, am I being mean? I'm not being mean.
No, I mean, Doug and I work together on our crowdfunding. Serena said it's better than anything else I've seen anywhere. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely true. I mean, Doug does all the copy for our crowdfunding business, and I mean, he's incredibly busy, and especially now because we're launching some pretty amazing stuff, and Doug's been running those. So for him to do this, I mean, this was a giant favor. So thank you, my friend.
Well, I love you and your people, so I want to help them out. I want everyone who's on right now, just do it, man. I'm telling you, just register. Even if it goes past the 7, we'll just tee those up for next month or 2. But do this thing because you'll never get a chance to be a best-selling author and be in the news for this insanely stupid low price. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. So with that said, let's say goodnight. Perfect timing, says Serena. Yep. Oh, Serena, I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. I
love her already. She's an action. She scheduled an appointment already. That's beautiful.
Oh, you will love Serena. Serena is a serious achiever. She's a delight. Nice. I absolutely adore her, and so you will love that. Let me see. Well, yeah, we can probably take care of that, Lexus. I'll pass this on to. Actually, you know what? Ask when you set up your appointment with Doug, ask him that personally. But you can work with him to direct on that, and I'll copy this over. I don't know if you're looking in the sidebar yet, Doug, or not.
Yeah, I can do it. Right.
Okay, but yeah, take a look in the sidebar. I'm going to pop it. I'm popping it in your Skype as well. So, so cool. Okay, no worries. Call is booked. Okay, great. Yeah, just talk to Doug about it. He's cool. We'll work with you on that. Okay, so guys, anything else? Anybody else have any other questions or concerns or need any help? Going, gone. All right. Well, in that case, guys, thank you for those of you that are joining on who've been shy about it. Congratulations and welcome. I can't wait to hear what Doug tells me about what you guys are doing. And congratulations for those of you that are still on the fence or trying to figure out how to make this work. Uh, just just do it. I mean, really, just do it. This is the best chance ever of getting your book not just done, but successfully done. I think that you're ever going to see. And I kid you not. Doug is incredibly focused on results, no nonsense. It's just getting the job done. And I can tell you, having worked with him on other projects, that's how it's done. So if you want the result, this is the man to work with. So, Mr. Crow, thank you so much.
Yes. Oh, my pleasure.
A joy as always. And you guys, thank you for being with us. Have an amazing holiday, an amazing year end, and I'm looking forward to having every single one of you build next year even better than your dreams were for this year. Take care, everybody. See you soon.
Okay, good night. Thank you.
Bye.